Okay, and that brings me to number 6 on my top 10 list of reasons why I love self-storage, and that's because you can utilize technology like this to be able to handle the management of your facility, because number 6 is no tenants. We have no tenants in our facilities. We just have stuff. We have clients that are storing stuff, from household items to collectibles to patio furniture, cars, boats, RVs, and most times just plain junk. And as a matter of fact, most people do not return, 95% of people do not return to their unit from the time they rent it until the time they move out, and the average right now across this country is 13 months, 13-month average tenancy. And we've got, Mike, some folks that we've inherited, a lot of the clients we've inherited at our facilities, they've been there for 15 and 16 years and continue to write a check once a month. So these kiosks, not only do they are they convenient for people to move in, but you can also pay your rent through the unit, so that means that we don't have to chase anybody down for late fees anymore. There's no more excuses. 24 hours a day they can pay rent from us. It reduces our labor costs because I don't have to have, like I did with the apartment side of the business, a manager there waiting for somebody to come in, or having to write letters to handle noise complaints, or the fact that they're parking on the grass, or that their dog was pooping in the common areas. You know, I can have the kiosk manage the facility for me. As a matter of fact, we've got there's several operators and several of our students around the country that are using these kiosks, and they're not having a part-time manager or any manager at all. They're just running it with the kiosk. We've got one gentleman that has been in the business for 20-some years. He's got 17,000 units across 5 states, and he has no site managers at all. He's been utilizing telephones over the past several years, and now he's implementing these kiosks in every single one of his facilities, and that allows him to remotely manage his entire self-storage empire across 5 states remotely without having to have any employees or any managers on site. Well, the next thing we did is we added a web-based property management software system so that, and I travel a lot, as you know, anywhere I am in the world, as long as I have an internet connection, or even from my Wi-Fi phone, I can dial into any one of my facilities into the web-based property management software system, and I can see just exactly what my occupancy is real time. I can see how much money we collected that day in rent, if anybody happened to move out, if anybody happens to owe money, just as if I was sitting at the screen there at the site. But the greatest benefit of that is that we decided to implement a call center at this facility. We learned a lot about these to be able to collect the calls, catch all of our calls should, say, the property manager be taking some cash out of the cash machine, the kiosk, and taking it down to the bank to make a deposit, or if they're helping another client, or if it's after hours. On the 4th ring, if somebody calls into one of our facilities, it goes down to our call center, and it is tied to, the telephone ID is tied to our web-based property management software, so that the call center agent on the other line can also see real-time what's going on in our facility, what units are available, what cost is, and you can take all the information from that client and rent them a unit over the phone, once again, without us having to come into contact with the client. So it, again, allows me to reduce my salaries by having to have a manager at the facility all the time to collect phone calls, and if anybody should happen to pop in. And it keeps it keeps people from shopping around. This business is pretty much a commodity. When people are looking for storage, they open up the phone book or they Google self-storage in their area, and they're looking for the facility that's closest to their business or their home, and then they start calling around, and they may compare prices at a couple of facilities, but that's really about it. Just as long as we answer the phone and get that sale, we're going to be miles ahead of our competition. And we can do this for pennies per lease. The call centers are just a very, very small expense. Well, the next thing we did is we added a website to our facility as well. Previous owners didn't really embrace technology too much, and so we implemented a website, and we found now, Mike, that 80% of our traffic that is converted to leads from leads converted to rentals is coming from the web. And so we've been really pushing hard to get all our facilities maximizing the exposure and making it very easy for people to find out everything they need to find out about our facility, and even to go and learn about the kiosk before they come down to the facility as well. If you look down at the bottom of the list of buttons there in the gray, if they type on the kiosk demo tutorial, they click on that and they've got a video, and it walks them through exactly how to use the kiosk so that they're familiar with it when they come down to the facility, in addition to all the other information about our pricing and some coupons and anything else they need to know about renting with us. Well, the next thing we did is we added a retail sales center at our facility. We had an empty corner of the room that we decided, boy, this would be a great way to increase our income and add a profit center. And so we started selling locks, boxes, and moving supplies. And it is a fantastic way to increase revenue at your facility. It's a convenience for your client because they don't have to go down the road if they come there and they've forgotten some packaging tape or they need some covers for the couches. And very high profit margins. I mean, much like any other retail business, if the company charges us 50 cents per roll of tape, then we charge the client a dollar.